please. How will you address the needs of these students? And we'll start with Ms. Wong.
Special needs of the students. The school district, the mission is trying to stimulate all the students. So the board, we should have the program designed for those people who need a special attention. And then we can have some psychology counselor to support those kids, as well as have a family around that, a community to support those families. Also, the communication is the key for we can help them to relate it to their challenges. We can have I can set up a platform for them to communicate, and then they will find out their issues, and then we can find the resources to help them set up programs, help them and looking for apply for the solutions and try to see if anything works. And then we got feedback and we adjust the solutions. Thank you.
Mr. Terrier?
Yes, thank you. The quality of our education at the schools is excellent and top-notch. I have absolutely no issues with how we get that done. And I think we do a good job of trying to get that across all of our learners, but especially things like special needs. There are special state funds for special needs, special transportation, and such forth. A lot of that is mandated by the state, and we meet all of those requirements. I think we do an excellent job in that. Obviously, with growth, that's going to be harder and harder to maintain. When you get larger and larger, it's a little harder to keep the high quality we have, and that's going to be where our issues are going to be. We need to make sure we can continue the excellent job we've done and make sure that we put the processes in place and the administrators in place to keep up with the amount of growth we're going to have. It's a little harder when you scale up to maintain that overall quality.
Ms. Miller?
Well, I think we actually have some great programs in place, and I mentioned that I chair the SELPA, which is the Special Education Local Plan Area. It's a regional program that includes 6 school districts, so it's Pleasanton, Dublin, Livermore, Sunol, Mountain House, and the Alameda County Office of Education. And that is a regionalized program that offers services at all 6 of those schools for special ed students. We actually just had a presentation on dyslexia, which I know they will be coming and presenting here to our board because it's a new diagnosis, and so we're constantly learning, and then those trainings are going out to our teachers. We also have, through the SELPA, a clinical services department that's specifically focused on mental health issues. And since social emotional well-being is such a big issue for everyone and everybody cares about that, they have implemented this program specifically for special education students, and it's been really successful. We had to keep adding counselors, actually. And also, I think our response to intervention program has been implemented really well. There's always work to be done, and we're fortunate that we have very dedicated special ed teachers who are constantly participating in different professional development and figuring out. I think the key is to mainstream students as much as possible. And we also have a very inclusive policy. If you've ever been to a Dublin High School game, you'll see cheerleaders that have special needs. We've had a homecoming queen that had special needs. We've had a band director. So our district really holds that philosophy of including everyone, and I think that we are trying to implement programs for that reason. Thank you.
Mr. Giannini?
Like Amy said, we're a member of the Tri-Valley group that really heads up a lot of special ed needs. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of experience in special ed. One thing is, I've been coming to the meetings for the last 2 school meetings, and special ed has been on the agenda quite a bit. I understand the curriculum is being worked on right now. We have excellent special ed staff. I know one special ed child who was able to mainstream. Other kids may need to have special classrooms, special attention. That's good. You have an opportunity to mainstream, that sounds good to me. The curriculum's being worked on, that sounds good too. The funding is always going to be an issue, like Dan said. We got to make sure we get as much funding from the state as we possibly can, and we're entitled to. One thing I did notice that kind of was a little bit upsetting to me, but a concern to me. When we were at Cole, I did notice our special ed kids were in that school for a couple of years, and then were shipped to another school. So I like to keep continuity. I think if I had a special ed child, I would like to keep continuity and have the child at the same school as long as we can, instead of moving from different school to different school. Thank you.
Mr. Hakeem?
Dublin takes care of their special needs students very nicely. I have visited some of these classrooms during open house, and I feel that we really address the needs well, and we should continue doing that. The very first thing is education. We want to make sure kids go to school for educating, and we are providing them an environment where it's least restrictive, and every special needs student can succeed to the best of their abilities. We should identify mild, moderate, or severe needs, and based on that needs of that special ed, of that student, we should be providing a inclusive program. We should providing education where the student is more inclusive. We should include them in regular classrooms because studies have shown that special needs students learn better when they are in regular classrooms, and that's where we should be concentrating on. We should also enable our severely disabled special needs students to live in the society, and we are doing that. We are enabling to do regular things like banking, cooking, taking care of themselves, and there's things like that. So I would say we are looking at holistically. Last but not the least, and I want to add that funding for special needs really needs to be addressed. It's a very costly affair, and we have to ensure that we provide the necessary funds for it. Last, blending special education to the needs.
Mr. Cunningham?
Thank you. Thank you. We do a great job with our special ed students and all our students. One of the things that I take a lot of pride in is our ability to really model the professional learning community at all levels in our system. We spend a lot of time collaborating, our teachers do among themselves. We've heard we like to mainstream our students, and we do. And one of the things that is really special about Dublin is our connection with the Special Olympics. And we host the Special Olympics consistently. And the reason we do that is because we understand how important it is for the special, our special needs students to feel included. And our students are fantastic about it. One of the challenges with special education is the state and the federal government does not fund it enough. And we need to get additional funding for our special needs students because whatever it costs comes out of our general fund that they don't support. So right now, special education encroaches on the general fund about $7 million a year. Now, that's money we gladly spend because there's students that need the most. However, we need to continue to look at that and how can we get the proper funding so our special ed students get what they need and it doesn't come at the expense of our general population. So, we've done a great job of adding counselors and making sure that those students can get into the mainstream classroom.
And Ms. White?
Thank you. I just want to say that I think we're doing an amazing job in some of the programs that we've developed in this district addressing those students with special needs. I'm particularly fond of the fact that we've recently taken steps to try and integrate students with a certain level of special needs directly into the classroom, because we recognize how important it is for those students to develop bonds with their other classmates. It is really important to nurture those relationships so that they can feel that they're part of the community, and I'm a strong supporter of it. Why? Because many members of my family actually are special needs individuals. For example, my uncle-in-law is a blind DA who fights drug enforcement issues and puts criminals to jail. And I know the power of that kind of support and what it can do for our community. I also have a dyslexic brother-in-law who basically invests on Wall Street. And just because he cannot necessarily read things the way others people can doesn't mean he doesn't have a brilliant mind. And we need to acknowledge that everybody has a gift and a talent, and that we need those talents to be able to build a great society. So I'm fully in support of many of the programs that we offer our students. I think we've done a great job, but I also recognize that we need to embrace these students in our schools so that they can engage in activities across the board in our curriculum, so that they can build those strong bonds with our students, our faculty, staff. Thank you.
All right, we move on to our fourth question.